Hello YouTube. It's time for a tour of the enormous vegetable garden. I haven't done a tour in a couple of weeks because I didn't really think there was anything to report, but everything is getting huge, so I guess there's lots to report. I just finished watering the garden, so I'll take you through a quick little walkthrough. And yes, I water it with a hose. I had a lot of people ask me why I water with a hose, and it's hi George. It's because I used to water with this before I got a hose. So we didn't have water down where this garden is. We didn't have really water past our house. So I put water in this portable cistern and drove it around my UTV for 3 years or something ridiculous like that. So I am super happy to turn on a hose and have water come out. It's like a miracle from the baby Jesus. So anyway, that's that. I brought this pot up from my orchard. I'd had a garden down there a long time ago, and the plants that are in here are these are actually lilies, and they must be like the hardiest lilies on the whole planet because I've never actually watered them, and they were down there until today. So today was the first time they got watered, and they actually have these pods on them that will open up to be a really pretty oriental lily. Oh, let's see, the hugel stump bed is doing well. Oh, here's our little feline friend. Meow. Sorry, ADD on the full. Peppers are doing really well. This particular pepper bed is looking really good. I have some really pretty nasturtiums down here in the end. That I think are called Velvet Night or Black Velvet, something like that. A really unusual dark kind of red. And I'm obsessed with the nasturtiums this year. This is the Aloha. There's a town in Oregon called Aloha. So whenever I see the word Aloha, I want to say Aloha. Anyways, Aloha mix from Renee's Garden Seed. Really pretty, kind of like that's actually doesn't pick up on camera, but it's actually kind of like a pink. It looks darker on the camera. It's a really pretty unusual pink, and it came in pink and like a pale yellow and an apricot. Really pretty mix of nasturtiums. I did find, I probably won't be able to find it now, but I did start to see a few little peppers on some of these plants, and unfortunately some of them lost their tag, so they could be something super hot. Here's a little one here. I'm pretty sure this one's a jalapeno. It has a tag, and there's its little pepper for me. And it says La Bamba jalapeno. Doesn't give an indication of the heat level. I've got some basil in here that's popping up. I have these flowers actually came from another part of my property where I have a really big perennial garden, and it was super windy today, and the wind actually broke the stalk, so I brought it with me and stuck it in some water before I can take it in the house. I have some little potted things. These are all kind of on the struggle bus because they're not really getting watered like they should. This is overflow tomatoes, and I do have a super successful row of basil right here. This is a tri mix. Also from Renee's Garden Seeds, and that one in particular, the green, is really like a lemon basil. It's fantastic. I think this purple one is like a cinnamon basil, and then there's a Thai basil that's in there too. The whole blend, I'm super happy with the mix. You can tell I just sort of sowed all the seeds together, so I'm getting the different varieties all kind of growing in one clump. But those are all really fantastic. I've tried some of those. This bed is kind of petered out. It has a couple peppers in it, and this was a carrot and bok choy, and I didn't get it super replanted. So that's kind of what it's doing, is petering. I've got some Cinderella pumpkins coming up. This seemed like a good idea at the time. This whole thing is like blocking the row and taking over, and it's huge. Some really awesome sunflower mix. This was also from Renee's Garden. This was their, I forget the name. I'll have to go back and look at the name. I saved the seed thing because their packets are so pretty, but this was a blend of, I think it's called Autumn Color is maybe the name of the blend, and it has some really deep reds and deep yellows and super pretty. It's just starting to get these cool striped zucchini, which are like regular zucchini, only they're striped, so that makes them cool. What do you think, George? Got some bush beans, more, so there's one of these things is not like the other. Most of those were red, and then I get this crazy yellow orange, really pretty. Cardoon, some zinnias in there. I got a lot of sunflowers. Some of these have been really slow to open up. I don't really know why, because I have sunflowers elsewhere on my property that are really kind of taking over. And these should be really pretty gladiolas that I had in here, and some of them have started to open down here, and they look like they're going to be like a scarlet red, which is weird because the bag they were labeled pink, so I don't know what's up with that. Definitely don't look like they're going to be pink though. I have lots of tomatoes like this. I'm not sure this is going to be a banner year for tomatoes because we haven't really had warm weather yet. I mean, we're just starting to kind of warm up. Normally, where I live, this is zone 7B in the Pacific Northwest, we typically get like summer drought. So it rains 6 months, it's dry 6 months, kind of the way I think of it. And usually we are still raining like 4th of July time. So we've just been cool and rainy and not as warm as it has been in years past. So not sure how that's going to bode well for my 130 tomatoes. This little guy is a cardoon, and I don't know why it's got, this will make a flower, like a little, I don't know if you can see down inside of there, it's like an artichoke. And usually these are, I'm pretty sure these are biennial, which means it wouldn't get this pod and, ow. She has super sharp claws, but when you don't pay attention to her, she tries to climb up your leg. Okay, so pod shouldn't be there. Next year, don't know why. So let's see. We've got another row of tomatoes here. This was the last row that I put in, and I feel like they're starting to catch up in size. And I'm starting to see little set fruits on here. Again, like nothing even remotely blushing. This looks like it'll be some kind of big. These were an heirloom packet, so it didn't list the individual varieties. That's going to be big, but they should all be big slicers. This, I'm obsessed with this dahlia, people. It's so incredibly pretty. The camera does not pick this up. I don't even know what color to call this. It's like orange and pink and yellow all kind of blended together. This is probably the prettiest dahlia I've ever seen in my entire life. The colors are just outstanding, and I literally just picked this plant up. I found it at Fred Meyer, I think, which is like a grocery chain here. And so I'm hoping to be able to divide it this year and get more tubers from it because it's outstanding. So pretty. Got some squash down here, some sunflowers that haven't opened. This is a jungle mess of chaos, just like I knew it would be. These are, again, the Aloha Mix nasturtiums. Really happy with those. So that's kind of a darker pink, and then there's a sort of a kind of salmon pink. But these are so pretty. Flowers are edible, and so are the leaves, which taste a little bit like crust. They're kind of peppery tasting. But good, really pretty addition to salad. This is like jungle tomatoes. Here's one of the kind of peachy. I know I'm obsessed with nasturtiums. I haven't grown these in probably 15 years, so I'm just nasturtiums in general. I don't know why I just got away from growing them, and so I'm super excited about the different colors that came in that packet. There's a kind of like a yellowy orange one. It's really pretty red ones. So these are all cucumbers interspersed with the nasturtiums, and I did see some little, I'm starting to get flowers, so I'm getting little itty bitties here. I will have cucumbers eventually, and I'm apparently going to have, this may be a yellow pear, which is known for getting really tall, and the top of this trellis is probably 5 feet, and this thing is just popping up over top of it, so those are going to be huge. Let's see. Oh, look, gotta see this really pretty yellow nasturtium. I know, I'm obsessed. And that finishes out this row of tomatoes. So many tomatoes. This bed is mainly done. I feel like the soil in this bed wasn't as good as the soil elsewhere. This is a soil blend that I bought. I picked it up locally, and I'm starting to wonder if it wasn't quite done cooking, because it's pretty lumpy and didn't seem to be quite as nutritious as, say, like this soil in here, which is just, this soil was fantastic, and it's also soil that was brought in, but topping my own compost that I make here from horse manure, sheep manure, goat manure, and animal bedding, chicken bedding. So maybe that's the difference. Not sure. There's yay for hoses. We're doing a little composting. You can never make enough compost, so I end up having to bring it in. I'm still getting carrots out of the edge of this bed, and I have a ton of Swiss chard in here, which my chickens love, and honestly, so do my goats. Really, that's kind of the tour. Everything is just incredibly pretty in this kind of light. It's like a magic glow. It's a glowing hour. And that's kind of it. I have squash, tons of squash, mystery squash. It's supposed to be a kind of a sugar pie pumpkin, but they're like huge mutant pumpkins instead. So I'm not really sure. There's 2 of them right there. So they're huge. So it'll be interesting to see what those turn into. And some really pretty zinnias pop up in here. More squash. More nasturtiums. This is a big, huge trellis. This entire trellis is San Marzano's. They're kind of out of control, huge. Got some mystery squash in there and some garlic. More nasturtiums. This row, bizarrely, the beans are doing really well on this side of the trellis, not so much on this side, so that's kind of a mystery. Not really sure what that's all about. We're going to follow George down this row. I do need to pull some weeds. I'm so not motivated. Really pretty scarlet runner beans. I'm starting to get hummingbirds down here. So I never had hummingbirds in this part of my property before, but I noticed a few, and I'm sure, I've seen them on the scarlet runner beans. I love the flowers on that. George is in my potato patch. So these potatoes I harvested. If I was a better gardener, I would have had something else ready to go in there, but I really don't. I still have these potatoes. They have little flowers on them, so they're not ready to harvest yet. And these are a white fingerling potato or yellow fingerling potatoes and some Yukon Gold potatoes, so they may not come until later. Some squash in there. So that scarlet runner bean, so pretty, especially backlit by the sun. And this sunflower hasn't opened yet, but I'm pretty sure they're going to be those dark chocolate cherry mix that are really, really pretty. I've got onions are kind of back in there, but I've already harvested a bunch of my Walla Wallas and have them drying. I need to come out and pull these ones because their little stalks have flopped over. So a tip that I read recently was to trim your onion stalks back, the green part, cut them back to help keep them from flopping. Because once this little stem here breaks, so when you get a break in here, this isn't going to get any bigger. This is just basically done growing because it can't photosynthesize down into this bulb when this thing is not even working. So that actually just needs to come out of the ground. What do you think, Kat? Onion? She says no. No? So, look how pretty that is. This is definitely the magic hour. So some of these onions I do need to come out and pick them and dry them and then go ahead and just use them because I normally I wouldn't have picked them yet because I would wait for them to get a little bit bigger, but they're not going to do that. So the sunflower is huge. I've squashed down in there next to the sink. We're still waiting on cement to get poured in our shop and in our greenhouse, so this sink is going to be sitting here for a little while before it ends up getting, we'll have to use a big piece of heavy equipment to move that because that thing is heavy. So more runner beans on this side, a little gap, and that pretty much completes the tour. This has been it was a very hot, windy day today, and it finally kind of cooled off, so I came out to water, and it's just super peaceful out here. Hope everybody is enjoying their quarantine. Kitty, kitty, kitty. You say bye-bye. Kitty, kitty, kitty. Just like a cat. Walk away when you want to talk to him. Kitty, kitty. She has such pretty blue eyes. Meow, meow. She's done being on camera though. She's so used to me trying to get a picture of her. Look at there, she's doing happy feet though. Alright, I hope everybody has a good evening. I hope you enjoyed this little tour of my garden. Talk to you later. Bye.